Hello, everybody. This is Megan,
And this is Alana.
and welcome to Tea Time Crimes.
Welcome!
Gosh, you were trying to make me lose it during that intro.
I did nothing. Innocent
You did
angel.
so many things. Hey, I have a big announcement. I have solved a true crime.
Really?
Yeah, it's pronounced Twinings
Oh, boy.
this whole time.
Wow. Oh, I mean, that
So-
makes sense because there's only one
Does it?
N.
Yeah, that's what logical people on the internet are saying as well. I pulled up. I said, you know what? We can't continue with this unsolved
Because they're going to want to sponsor us.
murder of a pronunciation happening. So I looked it up. There were several commercials that don't even say the name and are hilarious, and you should look at them because they're like perfume
Oh.
commercials.
Yes.
You know, they just random images. But
I can't
I
wait.
finally had to look up a bunch of different pronunciations, and everywhere says Twinings. British America. It's just what it is.
That does make sense because of the one N.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Both names seem weird, but I don't know, maybe we can still do a commercial for them. Just we can be
Oh,
twinning with Twinings.
Yeah. And I'll write
Yeah.
some good descriptions for their teas.
Really solid copy for them. Yeah. Yeah.
I got them.
Twinings. So now we know. Mystery solved.
Well, I wish I brought a Twinings tea today.
I know. I was hoping maybe you did, but if
No.
everybody has known this since the beginning of time, sorry. We've been calling it Twinings. Just
Well,
both
you didn't
names
comment
usually.
about it, so we're not sorry, actually.
Yeah,
Feedback
you
is important.
Twinings.
Twinings.
So to the Twinings Tea Company, we're fans.
Get a copywriter. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. And I guess
Awkward.
I'm a little bit more delicate than my co-host here. All right. What do you got for a tea? Oh, wait, no. Do you have stuff going on? Sorry. Did you have an announcement? Did you solve a crime today?
Oh, no, I don't solve crimes. I do that. I'm just kidding. Someday the police are going to get a hold of this podcast and be like, we saw it coming.
All of the soft parts were attacked.
All the soft parts. Nail it. I was at the Minnesota State Fair, which is fun. Lots of fried food and an unreal amount of people. It's this whole area that they just have for just the fair for 2 weeks. And they make $2 billion in profit. And some of those companies don't need to work again.
Wow. That's a fun 2 weeks. But
Right.
just curious, where did you think fairs usually went? Like in the corner of a mini mall?
No, like at the North Dakota State Fair, they're like it's a grounds where they'll use it for other things, like other events, like fairgrounds. But this one, they're buildings specifically for this.
I
and
see.
It's wild.
It's just for this all year.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I didn't get that before.
It's
Also, are you doing a
wild.
state fair tour?
No,
I don't think I've been to a state fair in years.
I know. I used to go to the Iowa one growing up, and that's when
Oh
I
my
was used
goodness.
to. Yeah.
How many have
We'd
you
go-
been to?
Just the 3. Does every state have a state fair? That's what I want to know.
I was thinking that same thing. I was trying to remember if Vermont had a state fair or if
That
it's
would
just
be
so
a
small.
good state fair. I feel like a lot of maple stuff.
If they just lump it together and it's a regional state fair because it's so small. I don't remember. I think they do have a Vermont state fair.
I want to go.
Oh, I mean, no one's stopping you.
All right, we're going to quit our jobs and we're both going to go to every state fair.
That does not appeal to me, but have fun.
It's not good for my stomach because you know how much I can eat at once and it's not a lot. So if I have that, we started the day with cheese curds. That was breakfast.
What are cheese curds?
What? They're fried cheese.
I figured.
It's just fried cheese. It's a big Wisconsin. That's their dish.
But you weren't in Wisconsin.
I wasn't, but Midwest, it's all the same. No offense.
Very confusing. And that's a breakfast food?
No, it's not. I just went.
Okay.
It was like state fair, go nuts.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you okay today? Because your stomach's a little bit delicate.
I'm okay. But I have prepared the day with kombucha and salad kits, so I'm ready to
Salad
reset.
kits.
they were half off. I was like, are you kidding me? We're going in. We're getting 2. So watch out, world.
Okay, I prefer the cheese curds, I think. All right, well, what do you have for a tea today, madam?
Oh, right. So we've been recommended this brand called Rishi. It's a very fancy black bag that I'll post. See that gold
Is that how you
lettering?
say it?
Oh, I don't know. Rishi?
Oh,
I think it's
no,
Rishi.
I see the name on there. Oh, boy. What's the flavor?
The flavor is turmeric ginger,
Goodness gracious.
golden turmeric, and bright ginger in perfect balance with lively citrus. So it has ginger, turmeric. Ooh, there's a little licorice root in here for you.
Yuck.
Some lemongrass, some orange peel. What if I talk the rest of the time like this? Some
Please
lemon
don't.
peel. And yeah, it's pretty simple. So,
It's not appealing to me.
okay. It could be good for if I was sick, this would be nice too.
Okay.
You know, ginger and turmeric. Turmeric?
Is it a black tea?
No.
It's
it
just
is
in a
pure
black
herbal.
tea bag, which is confusing to me.
Correct. Really?
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't focus on that.
Tea companies, please correspond your tea
color.
bag color with
Oh,
the
no.
type of tea.
This is an audio podcast, and you said black tea before, and so I got confused.
That's fair. Oh, it's hot.
Like most teas.
Smells like turmeric. A little bit of ginger. There's some grassiness going on.
It's the lemongrass.
It might be. Okay, we're going in. Woo! That, you know what? Once you put licorice in anything, it will take over.
Yeah.
That's what it gets
So
into
aggressive.
a room, and it's the star. It kicks everybody to the side. Spotlight, DJ, let's go. And
Is it
that's
the
what it's
star?
doing today.
I think of it more as the annoying party guest.
I mean, that's what I mean. The
Yeah,
party
well-
guest who changes the playlist on the DJ and just takes over the floor when everybody else was dancing to a different song.
It's exactly right.
Okay, there's some ginger. The ginger is hiding, is like a wallflower at this point.
It's trying.
It is. It's trying, but it just can't. I mean, the citrus has been kicked out of the building. Doors are closed. They're not allowed in anymore.
Citrus went home.
Yeah, I'm sorry, citrus. Licorice just...
Ginger's
know when to
trying to get a
quit.
dance in.
I
but-
know. And lemongrass, they're a little bit there, but I think they're just getting punched and waiting.
They're at the buffet table.
Exactly.
I'm lemongrass in this scenario.
Same. It's a thumbs up.
Is it?
It is. It's not awful. It's just it's an unbalanced thumbs up. We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice to drink. It would be nicer on a day that's not 102 degrees. I would suggest fall or winter and be ready for the licorice to take over.
All right. It's
Yeah.
probably good for you to eat after all the fried food too.
Yeah,
That ginger
I
will
was thinking
help
that too.
settle your tummy,
Agreed.
along with those salad kits.
Salad. Oh, gotta talk like a Midwesterner. Oh yeah, you betcha.
Boy.
Thumbs up.
Oh, apologies to the Midwest. Okay.
We love ya. You're good people.
Yeah, they are. You ready?
Yeah.
It's 1876 in Pickens County, Georgia.
Oh boy.
America has just celebrated its 100th birthday,
Woo!
which isn't very old
Just a baby.
in terms of countries. And Rutherford B. Hayes has won a contested presidential election, which ends the
Yes.
Reconstruction era, withdrawing federal troops from the South. But the country is in an economic depression. Not the Great Depression, the Long Depression.
Which is worse?
I don't know. Both sound pretty terrible.
Yeah, I'd like no depression.
One of them's great, though. It's maybe not a great time for everybody. It's a long time for everyone. But in the small mountain town of Jasper, Kate Hamrick is celebrating her wedding to Robert Southern. Robert, or Bob, as he's
Bob.
called, which doesn't seem like a common 1800s name as I'm saying it now,
Yeah, that's fair.
is said to be a handsome young man. And Kate considers herself a lucky lady because Pickens are slim in Pickens County.
Stop.
There's only a few thousand men in total.
Oh, because of the war?
No, just because it's a small mountain town.
Oh, okay.
And you whittle that down to single men who are her age.
Yeah.
Who, you're into. Bob's looking pretty good.
They don't got no Tinder.
Exactly. And Kate is 17 years old, which she's only about a year or two away from being a spinster. So she needs to make a connection here. Yeah. Because of the slim pickings, more than one woman is really vying for Bob's attention.
Uh-huh.
So Bob is seeing both Narcissa Fowler Coart and Kate Hamrick at the same time.
You don't hear that name every day.
You don't, and it messes with my brain. Narcissa, or Sis, as she will from here on out be called, because that's what everyone called her. It's easier to say.
Wait, but how do you spell that? C-I-S?
I don't know. I've seen it spelled both ways.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I spelled it with a C because Narcissa is spelled with a C.
Right, that's what I would think too.
But I saw it both ways. So Sis is from a pretty wealthy family, and she's described as a blonde, bewitching beauty.
Oh, I want her to have black hair.
However, she is a divorced woman, so
scorned.
Yeah. Kate, on the other hand, is from a less well-to-do but a decent family. She's described as having luxurious hair, splendid eyes, and a massive, broad forehead.
Oh,
I feel
same
you.
girl.
Same.
No,
Kate.
I'm raising my hand for a question.
Oh, I thought you just had a big forehead. Yes.
I also that. It's not a question, it's a statement.
I thought it might be. I'm sure it's relevant.
What I want to happen in this story, if it was written today, is that the girls just end up with each other.
Like a woman and a woman?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice. You should lower your expectations.
Yeah, I figured.
That's not exactly what's going to happen. Now, Kate's also described as not all that intelligent, but she makes up for it by being a pious Christian woman.
Of course.
So, yeah. In retrospect, Sis was said to have visited Mr. Hamrick, so that's Kate's father, before the wedding, letting him know that this union was a bad idea and threatening to kill Kate if he allowed Kate to marry Bob.
That's excessive.
The papers say this is because Sis was pregnant with Bob's child. Sis is not happy that she's lost Bob to Kate. She continues to remain friends with him, and the gossip mills get straight to work, reporting every single interaction Sis and Bob have right to Kate.
I mean, what else do they have to do?
That's what I'm saying. If they pass each other on the street, if they bump into each other at the, I don't know, the cow farm, I don't know.
The saloon.
Yeah. Kate confronts her new husband about this, and Bob brushes it off, laughs it off, tells Kate, a little bit of gaslighting, I believe. Says it's nothing more than bored old women talking, which is probably true.
And old here is 26, to be clear.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably a bunch of women who are 25 and over.
Bored to fucking tears because they're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah. Who are looking out their window, seeing Sis and Bob talking and have 18 kids in the back and think, this is more exciting. I'm going to go talk to Kate and get a break from these hooligans. I'm with the old women. But then Kate's neighbor says she saw Bob and Sis, this is a quote, having a sweet confabulation in the woods, which is my new favorite word.
What?
Confabulation, if you look it up today, it means a false memory, but assuming back then it meant a conversation or an interaction.
That's it?
I think it's an excellent synonym for as a man and a woman. That's how I'm taking it. But I don't know if you'd see that.
So say the word again?
Confabulation. I believe they were chatting, but you have to assume if you're in the woods.
When you do that with your fingers, that doesn't look like chatting.
Well, sorry. I believe if you're in the woods.
Hey, quick what is it? Confabulating?
Confabulation. Just, yeah. Just they were and it was sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah, that means, to me, that's saying a lot about the body language. This particular report does not sit right with Kate because the night of this confab, she remembers that Bob came home very late, way after dark. There's no good confabulations once the sun sets. You know what I mean?
No.
Not for a married man. He told Kate he'd run into a male friend and they'd been catching up. Kate confronts Bob again after she has this new information, and he doesn't love being questioned. He said he did meet up with a man, but he had also run into Sis earlier in the night. She'd asked if he would walk her home, and he, was obliged to. He's a gentleman.
Exactly.
Kate says, get it together.
Oh my God.
I didn't enter this union to have you
Loving this.
confabbing all over town.
Stop.
Sis is also
dirtier and dirtier every time.
It's such a great word. Sis is also spreading rumors about Kate, saying she's meeting a swamp man. Meeting a man at the swamp. I don't think it's like a swamp monster, but just meeting a gentleman down at the swamp. So apparently,
ladies, that's never a good idea.
Sis has the woods covered. Kate's beaten down at the swamp, which doesn't sound great.
No, I mean, there's mosquitoes. It stinks. It's not a good. You could be stepping in it. You don't go with the woods, honey.
Well, these are all good points that will lead to the fact that this is probably 100% false.
Okay.
Kate is newly pregnant as well when this happens. So the mystery man could be the father, is the next rumor that starts to come from this. This puts Kate's entire life on the line, because a rumor this severe is reason enough for Bob to simply say, she's pregnant, it's not mine, I'm out. And then he could be with Sis if he wanted to. That's how little power Kate has in the situation.
Again,
this is a real threat to her existence.
Men, do better.
For the record, I fully think this is probably just a rumor somebody made up. Maybe Sis, maybe not. In February of 1877, the Hamricks, which is Kate's family, have a party at their house. The whole town is invited.
Oh my God. It's a bash.
Yeah. Including Sis, by a mutual acquaintance who has to just be up to no good. They're bored, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Sis attends, but is believed to think that the invitation was maybe extended to embarrass her and rub it in her face that Bob is with Kate and not her. Sis walks into the party, makes a beeline for Bob.
But they're married now.
I agree. Chatting him up, I assume flirting with the best of them.
I want to see the fashion these days. Because at one point in the Victorian period, I don't know if that's the right word for it, where the cleavage is like...
No, these are...
I guess the Americans never did that because, Puritan and all that stuff.
These are just long dresses.
Okay.
These women are working constantly.
Got it. Can't get cleavage in the way.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Sis and Bob are talking, flirting.
Chatting,
then Bob dances with Sis. What is wrong with Bob, is my question.
He doesn't care.
This enrages Kate.
Sure.
She goes up to Bob, says, cut it out. Don't even talk to her.
Yeah.
And definitely don't dance with her, Bob. You're the worst.
Yeah, weirdo.
Then she pulls Sis aside and says, leave my husband alone.
Girl fight.
Right? Then
they make out.
She may or may not have asked her father if she could hold on to his pocket knife for him.
Okay. What does the dad think? Like, oh, this is normal for my daughter to want a pocket knife.
She said, could I borrow your pocket knife? I need to fix my nails. He said, okay. And then she vanished. Well, Sis and Bob not only continue to talk, but they set up to dance again.
No, this is not a good idea.
Cut it out, Bob. Now, sources will vary on how exactly things moved on from this point. Some say Kate continued to pick on Sis, sticking her foot out, trying to constantly trip her.
That's hilarious.
Others say that once Sis and Bob started dancing again, Kate went right up to Bob and said, cut it out. And he chose Sis over Kate for the dance.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Kate then pushes Bob out of the way, tells Sis, you've danced enough.
Bye.
And stabs Sis in the torso, then slits her throat from ear to ear.
What the fuck? Oh, wow.
That escalated very quickly.
Okay. Or you could ask her to leave first.
How about just a good solid punch?
Or that, sure.
This is in the middle of a crowd.
Yeah, you're not gonna... Oh, my goodness. The drama.
When the crowd realizes that a murder has occurred, somebody yells out, what man killed this woman? To which Kate replies, I am the man that did it, and I don't regret it.
Whoa.
Bob, dance is over, springs into action, pulls out his pistol, grabs Kate, and demands to the crowd, "Gentlemen, we are going out that door if I have to shoot our way through." Bob's brother, who's also at the dance, jumps on the other side of Kate, also pulls out a pistol, and they run out the door.
Okay, we need to break down these dynamics. So, how crazy is it? Bob clearly likes Sissy over Kate, but there's a clear like family like to the death here, right? With Bob and his brother, where they're like, we're taking her and protecting her, even though she just murdered my lover.
Well, I think he likes both women. Honestly, I think he likes both women, but Kate is a Southern now. And family,
and that's
a
just
serious
wild,
bond.
Like right away that happened. I think
they've only been married a few months.
Thing to
Yeah,
like you could just step back because it's clear what happened. So that's kind of cool.
Is it? Because he could have just not danced with.
It's interesting, but just the that the brother jumps into, like it's clear that that's like a very ingrained notion for the people there.
Yeah. Well, Bob is rightfully worried that Kate will be executed.
As she publicly murdered someone. Everybody in town was there.
Yeah, you have 1,000 eyewitnesses. He runs to his family for help. They purchase a wagon, some weapons. Some sources say that they sent Bob and Kate off to Texas, but they end up in North Carolina. So either a bad source or they took a wrong turn. Sis's family offers up a reward for the capture of Kate Southern for $250. The governor of Georgia adds an additional $100 to $150, depending on the source.
We're in Red Dead Redemption right now, and it's really fun.
An entire year passes before there are any sightings of Kate Southern.
Oh my God. Are they in a cave? I'll track them down on my horse. I'll lasso them in.
Oh, Lordy. Eventually, W.W. Findlay, who is a bounty hunter / private detective.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so into this.
Discovers Kate and Bob, along with Bob's father and 2 of his brothers, working a farm in Franklin, North Carolina. Yes, ma'am.
I'll tell you what he's wearing. A black cowboy outfit with a very straight brim, all black.
The pictures I saw were black and white, so I can't argue you.
So you're agreeing. Great.
Yeah, sounds fair. Word travels to the Southerns that Findlay is on their trail, though. And by the time he gets to Franklin, North Carolina, they're gone. He continues to track them. He's not giving up.
Yeah.
He catches them in Murphy, North Carolina. But again, they've been alerted before he gets there. This time, though, he's only minutes to hours behind them.
Oh,
they had
this
just
is a chase.
left.
This is so exciting.
The difference here is it's nighttime when they'd been alerted, which means Findlay understands that they can't go far because it's 1877. There aren't streetlights everywhere.
Yeah.
They can only go so far, and they're going to have to stay close to town.
What?
Because they can't travel very far in the dark with their wagon.
Don't they want to just rough it? Like hide out in the woods or something?
Yeah, but near town.
Okay,
because they're not going to get very far because they can't see. It also helps that the Southerns had skipped paying a passage fare, and there's a warrant out for their arrest.
Oh, wow. Geez, a warrant for that.
Yeah. Findlay does some recon, finds where they're camping, pretends he's just a friend passing through looking for a lost horse, finds out where they are, gets a posse together,
and
then captures them all without incident in the morning. Kate has given birth to a child while she was on the run. Yeah. Now they're captured. Kate's trial starts May of 1878. Kate sat there with her baby in her lap the entire time.
Wow.
At the time of the trial, Kate's recollection of that violent night is a little bit murky. She can't remember the actual stabbing, and she says she can't be sure she even did it. Kate said she had a bad cut on her hand when all was said and done. She remembers Sis grabbing her hair, and she remembers her sister, Amarelli, was also there. Amarelli was also charged with being an accessory.
Really?
All Kate can remember clearly about this incident is the behavior of Sis leading up to that moment.
Well, sure. That's what caused you to stab her, girl.
Kate recalls that on the 4th night of being Bob's wife, Bob didn't come home. He'd stayed out very late with Sis, confabulating, or as a man and a woman. She knew they had been seeing each other before they were married, but she did not realize how serious they were. And some accounts say Bob and Sis had been living together, which is very serious.
That's crazy.
And she certainly didn't know that it continued to go on after they were married.
Right.
Bob told her that Sis had threatened him before the wedding, saying that she was pregnant and that she would take him to court if he married Kate instead of her.
Well, he did.
I know. Then 4 days later, Sis threatens him again and says she'll take him to court if Bob doesn't come see her. This is Bob's account through Kate, right? Then Bob said Sis got him drunk and made him stay there till 2 a.m.
Okay,
Bob,
sweetie.
maybe handle your moonshine a little bit better. When Bob still returns to Kate, this is when Kate claims Sis started spreading rumors about her, down at rendezvousing at the swamp.
Rendezvousing at the swamp. Oh, bad idea.
And Kate and Bob became scared that Sis would continue to ruin their reputation, but also might take physical action against them. They said they were concerned she'd set fire to their home.
Well,
I don't know.
Geez.
They decided to move a few miles away, and they didn't have to interact with Sis anymore until the night of the dance.
Oh.
Her and Bob were at the Hamricks because Kate had been feeling ill, probably because she was pregnant, newly pregnant. And she said that the day before she had experienced a few fits, which could possibly have been seizures or maybe fainting spells.
Okay. Wait, but wasn't Sis rumored to be pregnant too?
Mm-hmm. They're both rumored.
Did anything come out of that? Like a baby?
Like a baby. There's no record of if Sis was pregnant at the time of her death or not.
Got it.
Right? She died before the baby would have been full term. Kate says the night of the dance, Sis accused her of trying to trip her and basically turned around on Kate and said, let's go. If you're going to be like this, let's do it. Which enraged Kate. She lunged at Sis. Sis grabbed Kate's hair. They fell on the floor. That's the last thing she remembers. When she came to, her parents told her she'd killed Sis and said she was glad of it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's intense, man.
The trial really boils down to the fact that Kate did it.
In front of thousands of people.
So many people.
The whole town was at the party.
Yeah.
You couldn't pick a worse time to do it.
The defense doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah. Bye.
Kate is found guilty and sentenced to death for June 21st. Well, even though her lawyers couldn't save her, Southern etiquette has other ideas, and people in Georgia are pissed.
Because she's a girl.
They file a petition with the governor based on 3 reasons to pardon Kate Southern. 1, several character witnesses attest to the fact that Kate is modest, pious, and chaste.
Doesn't matter. She killed a woman.
2, the week of the murder, Kate had 3 seizures.
Also doesn't matter.
Saying that it impaired her cognitive abilities. 3, they claimed it was an impartial jury.
Come on.
Unofficially, Narcissa is dragged through the mud. Claims that she frequently entertained gentlemen and was unchaste.
That's
Papers
fine.
claimed that Sis was a depraved creature, that's a quote, who first was married to Scott Cowart, and he left her quickly because she was, quote, so outrageously unfaithful to him that she drove him away and openly refused to share his couch with him.
Maybe get a bed.
Yeah, that's what I said. Don't date a man with a futon. That's rule number 1. What's this guy's problem? They also say that after Scott left, Sis broke up another marriage and then set her sights on Bob. And poor Bob, ready? He fell into her snare and remained in illegal intimacy with her.
That's not how that works.
That's what it says.
Oh, I just hate.
I know. Other papers report that Sis left her husband for Bob with complete intention of marrying Bob. Either way you cut it, Sis is being looked at as the guiltier of the 2 women. She is
got killed.
Sis is called a heart murderess.
It's dramatic.
Kate's case becomes this backwards equal rights argument. that if a man had committed this crime, he would be deemed a hero because unwritten Southern law expects a husband to take care of any man who seduces his wife. Why should Kate be held to a different set of rules?
My brain.
I know. The Indiana State Sentinel writes, the people of Georgia were supposed to embody the spirit of chivalry and gallantry toward women, which has been applauded as one of the noblest characteristics of Southern manhood. But the conviction of Kate Southern is a stigma upon the people of Georgia, as it places them in the attitude of punishing a woman for a crime, which when committed by a man makes them a hero.
What?
Yeah, this article is amazing. I wish I could read the whole thing. It argues that women are now being seen as men's intellectual equals. Are they?
I don't think they are, but I mean, good step forward. I feel like a woman secretly wrote this.
And if they don't handle Kate's case in the same way they would a man's, then the Southern people are about to lapse back into the days of barbarism.
Wow.
Yeah, it was harsh. Several similar legal cases are referenced through all these. These are articles, editorials. People are livid. The most well-known case is that of Daniel Sickles. Daniel Sickles started out in the state legislature for New York. He's actually part of the council that purchased Central Park.
Oh, I was just
which
there.
I know you love. Yeah, there you go. He later served as a senator and a congressman. In February of 1859, it's almost 20 years before Kate enters the scene, Sickles shot and killed the U.S. District Attorney Philip Barton Key. Side note, his father is Francis, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philip Key had been having an affair with Sickles' wife, Teresa. Apparently, everyone in D.C. knew this except for Sickles.
Oh.
Sickles receives an anonymous letter one day spelling out the affair, providing details, explaining that Key would leave a string hanging out the window as a signal to Teresa to come up that he was home. And then they would confabulate. Sickles confronted his wife once he received the letter. She broke down and admitted it.
Oh.
For 2 days, Sickles is stewing with this information. He's fuming. He's trying to decide what to do. As he's thinking about this, Key shows up outside his house attempting to get Teresa's attention through a window, which just sets Sickles over the edge. He walks outside, screams, "You villain, you have dishonored my house and you must die."
Whoa.
Pulls out a gun, shoots him, misses, gets closer, shoots 2 more times, kills him broad daylight on the street.
Oops.
Just like with Kate, Sickles said, "I did it, and I'm glad I did it. It had to be done." He's quoted as saying in the New York Daily Tribune, "He had dishonored me, and we two could no longer live on the same planet." Dramatic.
Jeez. Maybe move to, like, Washington.
I guess. Sickles has deep pockets, unlike Kate. He hires a really good defense team, and they use, for the first time, the temporary insanity plea.
The first time ever?
Mm-hmm. It works. Sickles is acquitted.
That's wrong. He was just mad.
After the trial, Sickles also forgave his wife, which made everyone livid. Details of the affair had come out in the trial, and they'd absolutely ruined Teresa. From what I could see, the details appeared super tame. They said things like intimacy of an improper kind. Could you imagine? Like, think of some of the news stories that have broken our lifetime and how detailed they are.
Yes.
Yikes. People were more upset that Sickles took back a fallen woman than killed a man. Teresa died in 1867 and had spent the rest of her life shunned by society.
Oh.
Yeah. Sickles went on to be a Union general in the Civil War.
Did he die?
No, he died later. You can see why people are comparing the case to Kate. It's pretty much identical.
But the first case was wrong. That's the problem.
Right. They're going off of this case.
It's not a good foundation.
Yeah, I think manslaughter is an appropriate charge. Second-degree murder?
It's plain murder.
I don't think it's premeditated.
The first one was.
Oh, Kate?
No. The dude.
Well, I don't think he meant to. I don't think he thought he didn't. I know he meant to.
He was thinking about it.
No, he wasn't thinking of killing him. He was thinking of what to do, how to handle it, how to handle the reputation. He has to work with this gentleman. And then the guy showed up outside his house trying to get his wife, and he ran outside and he had a pistol on him.
So second-degree murder is just in the moment murder.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what he should be charged with. And that's what Kate should be charged with too.
Well, feeling the pressure of executing a woman,
Oh, God.
Kate Southern is not put to death.
Of course not.
And instead, her sentence is changed to 10 years in prison.
10 years? That's it?
Oh, hold on to your seats. In Georgia at this time, convicts are sent to one of 4 companies, or sometimes called colonies. Have you watched Handmaid's Tale? That gives me shivers. Oh, all the bad people get sent to the colonies. There's so many dumb rules. Okay. The prisoners there are hired for labor under watch. Men are usually on the railroads or on farms. Women are doing some sort of domestic labor.
Okay.
Kate is sent to the camp of Captain Jack Smith. She arrives by train, and a crowd is waiting to greet her and cheer for her.
Ugh.
Kate is assigned light duties as a seamstress making prison uniforms. Hold on. She gets to keep her child with her.
What?
Bob Southern is allowed to get work next to the camp and live with Kate and his child.
What?
Kate's sister, who's been sentenced to 2 years for being an accessory, also assigned to the same work detail so that they can be together. This doesn't sound like prison at all.
No, it sounds like a little summer camp.
Even though this is a pretty solid setup, in my opinion, for somebody who's murdered another human being, the state of Georgia, those people want a full pardon. They are livid. As time surrounds this case, Kate's celebrity continues to grow. In 1882, an article is published in the Omaha Daily Bee that is so over the top. It reads as if it's a fairy tale. I have to read it to you. Kate is described as a rosy-cheeked, brown-haired, blue-eyed maiden with the form of a model and the grace of a gazelle.
Wow.
Was she prancing around the courtroom? She was the daughter of a well-to-do farmer, and her smiles were courted by the brave-hearted young mountaineers.
This is absurd.
I think we might be romanticizing this a little bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah. By the time this article came out, Kate is working as a domestic servant. Bob, and now she's had more kids. Bob and the kids are still with her. She's working for a man named C.B. Howard, who's a convict lessee. So she's not under watch anymore. She's been kind of rented out to this man. It seems like a probation situation. The article accidentally makes a solid point. It says if Kate is guilty, then her punishment is not fair. It's too lenient. If she's not guilty, then this woman should not be locked up. However, they believe she's not guilty because she was defending the honor of her family. Yeah. I know. The truth, we'll never know, but truth is always in the middle. The show Deadly Women paints a very different view of Sis. They say she was married at a very young age, maybe as young as 13.
Oh.
And her husband was brutally abusive before abandoning her. When he left, she started seeing Bob and wanted to marry him, but she was unable to find her husband to get a divorce, so she could not marry Bob, which is a very, very different view of Sis.
Seriously.
Than what was painted, right? They had Sis like grabbing her sachet and her hatchet and going out looking for men. Like she was husband hunting around town, trying to break up every marriage.
Exactly. The heart murderess.
Yeah, the heart murderess, when really she was a teenage bride who was probably abused, hoping to find another man and couldn't find the first dum-dum to divorce him. This attack on the victim seems to be a common thread in these cases because Sickles' lawyers did the same thing. They said Key was sleeping with every congressman's wife. That's not possible.
Well,
plus, some of those have got to be older ladies. Come on now.
I mean,
well, there's going to be some people who are like 80. Just seems unlikely that he'd be attracted to every single congressman's wife.
Yeah.
But what do I know? The public is very clear that they demand justice for Kate Southern. After a few years, Governor Alfred Colquitt grants a full pardon to Kate Southern, and she returns home to Pickens County. The governor granted this pardon right before he left office. Side note, he happened to serve with Mr. Hamrick, Kate's father, in the Civil War.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Convenient.
What's up with Sis's family?
They offered a reward for her capture. I don't know what happened to them after. One newspaper said that Sis's mother was good friends with Kate Southern after the murder, and I just don't believe that.
There's no way. Also, F you, Mom, for marrying
if
off your
that's
daughter
true,
to 13, you sicko!
That was common.
I know, but I don't like it.
Well, I know. Nobody
They're
likes
babies.
it. But I'm saying, that's why I'm saying Kate was getting on the wrong side of the age there by being 17. Holy moly. Sis had been married forever since then. Kate and Bob had 8 children together.
Wow.
One of whom they named Alfred Colquitt Southern after the governor.
Okay.
Kate lived until 1927 and is buried in Alabama. Bob died 3 years later.
Wow.
What do you think?
That's a very Southern story.
Is it though?
I think it is, with the whole like defending the honor.
I don't think that's just a Southern thing. I mean, the other guy was in D.C. I think that was just a product of the times.
D.C. was considered
I don't
South
know.
back then, but
I think your honor and your reputation was the most important thing.
It's just wild. Like, oh yeah, she deserved to be murdered because she danced with your husband. Like everybody, that's what. If you boil it down, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, because she was taunting and tricking your husband into these illegal intimacies.
No, like this is what happens. Whenever there's a love triangle, go to the base of the triangle where the points are meeting, because that's what's happening. It's the man with the 2 women or the woman with the 2 men.
Or the all women and all men.
That's the problem. You don't need to deal with Sis. You need to deal with your husband. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
But always happens with like people get jealous and they attack the outside person. Your issue is with the inside person.
Agreed. I don't know if you know how a triangle is shaped because it's 3 equal points, but
I know, but I was trying to think like where they really come intersect.
I agree. Sis isn't married. Bob's married. Keep your pants on, Bob, and go home.
That's exactly right. Like he's the villain here. I mean, Kate is the villain too. But like,
I know.
Kate murdered the wrong person, or don't murder. Don't murder at all.
Wait, whoops. Let's roll it back.
Roll it back. Don't murder. Attack your husband verbally and emotionally. And spiritually.
You know, they were saying that at this time, most of these kinds of debates were settled with a fight of some sort, and whoever won would be the victor, and then anything the other person said would automatically be thought of as a lie.
Which is barbaric, to be clear, which is hilarious that newspaper article said that, because like that is such a barbaric way of solving problems.
I know, but think about it. I mean, they had duels.
I know, that's what, yeah. But like, do some mud wrestling. Okay. Go in the swamp.
It's a real Girls Gone Wild vibe that I wasn't expecting.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's the man. It's always the man.
Well, no, it's always the married person. I mean, you don't have to just be the man. You could be.
No, I know. But in these stories, that's what ends up happening usually.
Yay.
It's so bad.
Part of the reason both of these women are acting like this is because there's such a societal pressure.
Right.
And the only option for them is to be with the man, or else.
Exactly.
The most important thing that either one of those women are going to do is get married and have children in their life. That's the ultimate goal for women in 1876.
Yeah.
And they need a way to do that. And this is a very cutthroat.
Yeah, I know. That makes sense. Cutthroat, yikes.
Didn't mean that.
I mean, literally.
Literally. It's all that they have. The only goals they have.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yikes is right. I really feel bad for Sis. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be dabbling with other people's husbands. I'm not going to not say that's wrong. That is wrong. And you shouldn't do that. But like, to be murdered publicly and then dragged through the mud afterwards, that's shit. That's total shit.
Totally. And here, I would love to know more. Sis didn't have a chance. I would love to know more about her in the sense of maybe did Bob promise to marry her? I bet you he did.
Yeah, I bet you he did.
What was Bob telling her on the side that was making her think she still had a chance? Was she was a desperate woman.
Yeah.
And she thought she was going to marry Bob Southern, and then she turns around and whoop, Mary's married to Kate.
It's tough. It's really
nobody
tough.
knew who everybody knew he was dating both women, and nobody knew who he was going to pick until the day they got married.
That's a bad sign.
Right? Ugh.
Right, like how's that gonna make Kate feel too? Like, oh, we don't know. And then we finally do at the last second.
I don't know, but at least she has a nice forehead.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, what do you think should have happened to Kate Southern? I don't think she should have been executed.
No, I mean, I'm never going to go for the execution, but I think she should have been in like a long time in prison, like a real prison, not a getaway camp with your family.
I know, it sounded like summer camp over there.
It wasn't punishment. Didn't sound like. She'd be doing domestic work anyways at home.
I know. They said, even though they were happy that she had this set up, the general consensus, they did mention that it was highly unusual to have such liberties when you were a convicted murderer.
Like, I'm sure it's different for women, but our very first episode too, like, you saw how horrible prison can be for women there.
Yeah.
I feel like wasn't that around the same time?
Little later.
Maybe a little later, yeah. But still, I don't know. And she had to have known the public supporting her, so she probably was such a martyr. Ugh, makes me mad.
She's also 17.
Right. Also wild to think about, like me at 17.
With a new baby.
Good Lord.
I mean, you're not making good choices. Your brain's not developed.
Nope.
Then you're put into this framework. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah, everything's awful. Everything's awful. Let's be real.
I'm most upset with no heat was given to Bob. None at all.
But of course.
No paper.
We're not surprised.
Talked about him. Nobody said, you know what, Bob? Anyway, as I'm reading through these newspapers, I just want to read this to you because it made me think of some of our other articles or other episodes that we've done. When you're reading in the newspaper, you see the ads of the time, you see editorials, you see the activity log for the town. It's fascinating.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. That's great.
This was quoted from an old lady. It said, an old lady says, "When I was a gal, the women with the prettiest faces were the ones men looked at the most on the street. But now it's the female who hissed her skirts up the highest when she goes across a muddy place who receives the most attention." We've talked about that. When they jump over a puddle, if you see their ankle. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
That's the vibe that Kate was living in.
Of course.
Yeah. She had to defend her honor.
No thanks.
Yikes.
I would go downhill real quick in that society.
Yeah.
I just find a cave in North Carolina, find a little mountain.
Why are you living in a cave?
Because that's where all the fugitives go when the bounty hunters try to find them.
Can you give me an example?
Gotta rope them up. That's just from this video game.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, what are your last words?
Look in your own home first. If someone's doing something wrong and there's an affair going on, you need to address the root of the problem as it is to you, as in Bob, who is cheating on you, and not go after the ancillary person. Because that root's going to keep being, rotting, I guess.
I would love to know how many other women Bob was with after Sis died.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Don't get distracted. I get it, right? That has to be like blinding jealousy, but the problem is Bob, not Sis. And also everybody else, stop cutting men slack. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Oh, poor Sis.
Yeah, I feel really bad for her.
I think that she may have also been a mother. Deadly Women said that she had 2 children by her abusive husband. I didn't see any children listed on any of her paperwork, but that seems incredibly likely that she would if she was married at 13.
Yeah, sure. If she was married so young. Oh, I can't even think about that.
Can you imagine?
Too little.
Being a mom at 14 on purpose and people being happy about it?
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, who should listen today to this crazy tale?
Judges, lawyers, mountain men, bounty hunters, North Carolinians, Georgians, Texans, because you almost
made it.
the wrong
They
way.
started out that way and then they went, whoops, better go north.
And people who are struggling with cheating partners. Don't stab them or the other person, but you need to get them out of your lives or work through it with the actual relationship you have.
Right, with the person.
It's just a hard thing, but that's where the root is.
Yeah, those are your choices.
You gotta go there.
That's it. Either work it out with your spouse or leave your spouse.
Break up.
That's it. 2 choices.
No murder.
0 room for murder in these triangles. Also, I want to just mention real quick, Teresa Sickles, she got destroyed.
Yeah.
Worse than her husband. And she probably, I wonder, I was thinking about this as I was reading it. Did she even want to reconcile with her husband, or did she have 0 choices at that point?
I mean, the latter, for sure. She had 0 choices no matter what. And I'm sure he was not very nice to her after that.
Imagine.
Eesh.
Don't go to a window with a string in it, folks.
I just wish, I know it's so hard in these societies. And I was talking to Chris yesterday about what a nation or historical group wasn't a patriarchy back in the day. Like, as there were so many across the board. Maybe the Nordic countries, because, sometimes the Viking women would be in charge. And I think some native communities, too, would have matriarchal societies, but it's so rare.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just wish in these situations, I just would imagine all the women running away and starting their own colony together. And in the current modern cases, we talk about self-esteem in women and girls is almost always a problem. And think about it, from all this time where women were just so suppressed, second-class citizens. And then, of course, that's going to play into our modern society at some point, because it's that slow buildup of rights that we finally have. I don't know. It's just wild.
Yeah, it is interesting to think, confidence and being secure isn't even something that you can put on Kate Southern as a possibility.
Right.
It is a life or death situation to save her reputation, which is very different than what we talk about in these modern cases where you can see a woman feel like she's less than, that she has to be attached. It's a very emotional battle, whereas back in the day it was, if she doesn't do this, she might starve and she's pregnant.
Yeah.
It's a very physical battle. And I don't know. Just keep going on, I guess. All right. Well, anything else to say?
No, I've said a lot.
Yeah. That's what you're here for. All right. Well, you can find us on all the platforms at
Tea Time Crimes.
You can email us at
teatimecrimes@gmail.com. We've been getting some nice emails from our listeners. We appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. My aunt is finally figured out how to listen to my podcast, and it's my favorite thing. She's been trying for a year.
We love you.
Hi, we love you. And I just get the best emails from her just randomly. They'll say, I'm not talking to anybody named Mary. Hi, Alana. I love it.
The best.
Because we had that stretch where all the killers were named Mary. I was like, yeah, that's right.
I know, she recognized that pattern.
Yeah, she did. Well, hi, Auntie.
Watching her backs. Hi.
All right. We will be back next week. And thank you so much for listening. Please rate, review, like, subscribe. Send us.
No, we won't.
What?
We won't be back next week.
Oh, no. What happened to us?
Oh, shit. Will we?
Why aren't we back next week?
No. Right?
I honestly don't know. Yeah, we'll be back next week.
Okay, bye.
We'll be back next week. Don't listen to her. Thank you so much for listening. I don't know if I finished. Please send suggestions for teas and crimes. And thank you so much for listening.
Don't do crime.
That's right. Don't
Unless
murder.
You need to feed your family.
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. What is that movie? Play? Les Mis. They steal a piece of bread.